How to Find Your Real Self, inspired by Mildred Mann. Written and published by Audible Aria. Mildred Mann played a significant role in the New Thought movement. She was fortunate to receive personal tutoring from Emmett Fox, a prominent figure in New Thought. After studying with Fox for many years, Mann developed her own teachings. She eventually moved to New York City, where she taught metaphysics from her apartment, following in the footsteps of earlier teachers like Emma Curtis Hopkins. Personally, I find her writings fascinating. The book we're delving into today, How to Find Your Real Self by Mildred Mann, serves as an excellent introduction to her ideas. It offers clear guidance on discovering your true self and includes practical tips that I've found quite valuable. I believe you'll find it very enjoyable and insightful. First chapter. You are a special enterprise of God. In today's world, having a practical philosophy of life is more important than ever. But what does practical philosophy mean? It's not just about having nice ideas or dreams that help us ignore life's challenges. It's about having a philosophy that you can actually use every day in real situations. Imagine a philosophy that's like a toolkit for life, a set of ideas and beliefs that guide your actions and decisions. It's not just something you think about, it's something you live by. This kind of philosophy isn't just for philosophers or famous thinkers, it's for everyone, like the teachings of Jesus, a practical mysticism that offers real guidance and wisdom for everyday living. So, in a world full of complexities and uncertainties, having a practical philosophy can be like a compass, helping us navigate and make sense of our experiences. It's about finding meaning and purpose in what we do and how we interact with others. This practical approach to philosophy can make a real difference in how we live our lives, making them more meaningful and fulfilling. You might ask, what does all this mean? Well, let's talk about pragmatism. Around the early 1900s, William James, an important American thinker, made this term popular. He described pragmatism as something that's practical and useful. It's about ideas or beliefs that you can actually use in your life. For James, it's not just about whether an idea sounds good. It's about whether it can help you in real ways. Will it make your life better? Can you put it into action and see results? That's what pragmatism is all about, finding ideas that work for you and can be applied in your daily life. Pragmatism isn't just about buying things. It's about developing and using your own inner strengths. It's about a practical, everyday connection with God, which some call metaphysical thinking, or, as I prefer to call it, pragmatic mysticism. It's not about withdrawing from the world, living in seclusion, or denying yourself the good things in life. Instead, it's about finding a practical way to unite with God in your daily life. That's what it boils down to in simple terms. Years ago, before I explored metaphysics, I was involved in running a photo feature syndicate that supplied stories to newspapers and magazines, much like those in Life or Look magazines. One project, What is a Human Being Made Of?, analysed the elemental composition of a young woman: salt, calcium, silica, sulfur, potassium, and more. According to our calculations, these elements totaled about $2.94 in value before inflation, reflecting our physical worth. At that time, I held atheistic views that aligned with this materialistic perspective of human worth. However, my outlook changed when I encountered metaphysics by chance. Reluctantly attending a lecture by Emmett Fox, a renowned metaphysical teacher, I was deeply moved by his words. He posed a profound question: do you truly know who you are? You are a special creation of God. This statement struck a chord with me, contrasting sharply with the purely material valuation I had embraced. Dr. Fox's words sparked a profound inner realization. Until then, I had been spiritually narrow-minded, focused solely on the physical aspects of life. These two perspectives seemed vastly different, prompting me to explore the realm between them through the study of metaphysics. I embarked on a quest to discover if metaphysics offered more than abstract ideas, a practical philosophy for daily life. Immersing myself in its teachings, I found a deeper understanding. I am indeed a special creation of God, as is every human being. Yet grasping this concept intellectually was just the beginning. I realized that integrating these principles into my daily life required ongoing learning and application. Now, what does it really mean to be a special creation of God? You are, whether you realize it or not, a unique project of God's design. Imagine starting a business or taking on a big project. You gather everything it needs, ideas, resources, energy, to make it work well. God did something similar with us. He made us in His image, giving us everything we need from physical abilities to spiritual gifts. He also gave us free will, allowing us to choose our own paths. Sometimes we've used that freedom poorly, losing touch with our true nature. Often, due to our surroundings and upbringing, we blame others or even God for our problems. But blaming isn't the answer. God created each of us uniquely and gave us a mind and self-awareness unlike any other species on Earth. You may not know everything about yourself, but you know who you are at a basic level. Your name, your identity. You have the power to think and create original ideas. Here's a revealing test. Ask yourself, who am I? And notice the first 3 thoughts that come to mind. You might say things like, I am a teacher, or I am a parent, but those are roles, not your true essence. It's a simple way to see how you perceive yourself. You have self-awareness and the ability to shape your own identity. You have the freedom to develop your mind and make choices. You're not bound to live under every threat that appears in the world around you. Each of us is born with a sacred purpose, deeply woven into the fabric of our souls. It's the essence of being a child of God, a cherished son or daughter meant to co-create with Him. This truth resonates within every human being, reminding us that life is more than just surviving through its challenges. Imagine life as a canvas, and you are the artist. God has entrusted you with unique talents, dreams, and a journey that only you can fulfill. Your existence is not merely about enduring years of hardship, it's about embracing the divine spark within you to create something extraordinary. No one else can play your role in this grand design. Just as only you can be you, your purpose unfolds in a way that reflects your individuality. It's a journey of self-discovery and growth, where each step taken in faith and authenticity contributes to the masterpiece of your life. When you recognize yourself as a partner in creation with God, every experience becomes an opportunity to express your divine potential. Your path may not always be easy, but every challenge is a chance to shape and refine your unique contribution to the world. So embrace your role as a child of God, knowing that you are here to bring forth something beautiful and meaningful. Trust in your journey, for only you can paint the picture of your life in the colors of faith, love, and purpose. Remember, the essence of your soul is a reflection of God's love and creativity. Live each day with the awareness that you are here to create, to inspire, and to manifest the unique purpose that God has planted within you. As we discover ourselves and build our lives according to God's plan, we each offer a slightly different and special experience to God. That's why no 2 people are exactly alike, not even identical twins. No one else can fulfill your purpose in exactly the same way you can. You are a unique project of God's creation. In this chapter, let's talk about how to find yourself. How can we discover who we really are? The journey begins by looking inward. We take the time to understand ourselves, how we're put together, and then we learn how to harness the amazing power within us. This starts with understanding the mind, what it is, and how it functions. The mind is incredibly fascinating. It's divided into 3 parts: the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. The part we're most familiar with is the conscious mind. It's where we process information from the outside world and where we do our thinking. This part of the mind is active during our waking hours, constantly busy with thoughts that can jump around like a wild monkey. It's where we learn from formal education and hold on to that knowledge as long as we need it. Interestingly, though, it's the least critical part of our mind. It acts more like a filter for thoughts, letting them pass through randomly until we learn how to control it. It's essentially our intellect at work. The subconscious mind is far more significant than the conscious mind. It's the part of your mind that generates feelings and brings up memories you may have forgotten. Think of it as a vast storage place. Everything that's ever happened to you, every thought, action, or word you've experienced, even if you don't remember it consciously, is stored there. Your loves, fears, hates, kindnesses, bravery, resentments, and charities, they're all part of you right now because of your subconscious. If you want to understand what's in your subconscious, observe yourself closely. One way to start is by looking in a mirror. Your body reflects what your subconscious mind is expressing. Your health, energy levels, and appearance often mirror what's going on inside. Pay attention to your actions, words, and reactions. Are they what you expect them to be? Do you get angry easily? Do you take offense quickly and blame it on being sensitive? Are you overly protective of your pride, or do you carry a grudge? These behaviors can signal that something in your subconscious is causing trouble. It's important to address these issues because ignoring them can lead to problems later on. If left unchecked, they can trip you up and cause serious setbacks in life. In addition to storing memories, the subconscious mind is also the powerhouse of our abilities. Its main job is to create, which it does automatically when the conscious mind commands it. Unlike the conscious mind, the subconscious doesn't think logically or reason. It simply follows instructions until new instructions are given. The subconscious mind holds all our past experiences and our current situation. It even has a sense of what the future could be based on past patterns. However, because it's adaptable, it can change the course of our future if it's given new motivation and guidance. Think of it like this. Your subconscious is like a powerful engine that runs on commands from your conscious mind. It's always ready to act based on what you tell it, whether those instructions are positive or negative. Understanding this relationship can help you harness the full potential of your subconscious to shape a better future for yourself. The third part of the mind, often the least understood but most crucial, is called the superconscious mind. It's what gives us life and is often referred to as the presence of God within us. This divine aspect goes by many names, whether you call it the presence, the indwelling Christ, the divine spark, or simply I am. It represents our conscious realization of our true self, our union with the divine. This superconscious mind is the essence within us that enables our thoughts, emotions, and actions. It's the source of life itself, and each of us embodies this divine essence. When our time in this life is complete, the superconscious mind withdraws from our physical body, taking with it both the conscious and subconscious aspects of our mind until the next incarnation. However, at our current stage of spiritual evolution, the superconscious mind primarily serves to animate us. Understanding and connecting with this deeper part of ourselves can lead to a profound sense of purpose and connection with the divine. It's a journey towards realizing our true nature and living in harmony with the spiritual essence that resides within each of us. It's equally true that if you strongly desire a connection with the divine presence, if you seek the giver more than the gifts, you will find it. And once you have the giver, you also possess all the gifts you could ever need. Our conscious mind not only directs our subconscious to manifest our desires, but also creates our problems. Everything that happens to us, good or bad, is a result of what we've consciously or unconsciously set in motion. Blaming others for our circumstances doesn't make sense because they are merely instruments responding to the laws we've activated in our subconscious mind. When we grasp this idea, two things typically happen. First, many people resist accepting responsibility. I once shared this insight with a close group, and I saw in their eyes the reluctance to admit they might be responsible for their hardships. It's human nature to avoid admitting fault, even though it's true. Understanding this principle shifts our perspective. It empowers us to take control of our lives and change our circumstances by changing our thoughts and beliefs. It's a profound realization that leads to personal growth and transformation. When we can accept this truth, which it truly is, we've taken a monumental step in the right direction. It marks the beginning of cleansing our soul. True freedom begins when we acknowledge our own responsibility for everything that happens in our lives. If we accept that we're responsible for both the good and the bad in our lives, it follows logically that we can't blame other people or external situations. Those who have hurt us are simply instruments operating under the universal law we've set in motion, whether consciously or unconsciously. This cosmic law is summed up in the principle, like attracts like. What we send out into the world comes back to us. Once we grasp this concept, we can release all resentments. We understand that resentments act like cancers on the soul. They grow from our emotional reactions to people and events in our lives. Recognizing this truth sets us free from bitterness and allows us to heal emotionally and spiritually. Let's say you're rushing and accidentally run into a door, hurting yourself. Would you hit the door back? Yell at it for being in your way? Would you keep talking about the door to everyone you meet? Or replay the incident over and over in your mind? Of course not. But if someone accidentally stepped on your foot in a crowded bus, especially if it hurt, you might glare at them. You wouldn't blame the door for being there, but you might feel annoyed at yourself for not being more careful. Yet, when it comes to interactions with other people, our reaction can be very different. We often respond with indignation, anger, or resentment when someone crosses us. This might seem like a normal reaction, but it's not really natural or healthy. This simple example shows how our attitudes can affect deeper relationships. We tend to focus on what others have done to us or might do, rather than looking at our own reactions and responsibilities. The key is to understand that we are the cause and effect of what happens in our lives. When we realize this, we can start to overcome one of the biggest problems we face, resentment. Resentment often fuels many of our personal issues and challenges. Recognizing our own role in our experiences can help us let go of bitterness and find greater peace and understanding in our relationships. In this chapter, let's talk about problems. Do you know anyone who doesn't have problems? I bet you don't. Problems are always a part of life, like the poor. They're always around. Everyone faces challenges. Some are urgent and need immediate attention, while others are long-standing and chronic. We've had these chronic problems for so long that we've grown used to them, and sometimes we even feel attached to them. We might know people who've spent years carefully tending to their health issues like gallbladder problems, migraines, or sinus troubles, nurturing them through their thoughts and words. These chronic ailments often become topics of conversation at social gatherings. Usually we don't feel motivated to change these chronic problems until they become really uncomfortable or unbearable. It's then that we start to think seriously about finding solutions and making changes. Let's discuss what happens when our health problems become more troublesome than our social benefits. Everyone faces problems, and they all stem from our subconscious mind, the powerhouse of our thoughts and emotions. But why do we have problems in the first place? No one intentionally chooses to burden themselves with something they know will cause harm. Problems arise because at some point in our past, something happened that we didn't handle well. This idea got embedded in our subconscious mind, grew over time, and eventually emerged as a problem. With over 8 billion people on Earth, each person believes their own problem is the worst. It's natural to feel this way. There's an old saying that if everyone hung their problems on a clothesline for all to see, everyone would quickly grab their own back. It's true. We tend to feel most burdened by our own issues. When dealing with health issues, it's undeniable that pain is real and can be very distressing. However, pain and illness aren't permanent. They can change. You have the power to heal your body if you can identify what's causing the problem in your subconscious and then make changes. Financial and work-related problems often stem from feelings of inferiority. struggles with interpersonal relationships, or a sense of inadequacy. As you integrate and grow, these fears tend to diminish, and you begin to grasp the true meaning of prosperity. Many of life's challenges, like health, money, and work, often trace back to our relationships with others. Florence Scovel Shinn, a wise teacher of metaphysics, once posed a thought-provoking question to her clients. Instead of asking, "What is the matter with you?" she asked, "Who is the matter with you?" This shift in perspective highlights a crucial truth. A lot of our problems stem from how we relate to others. Interpersonal conflicts and unresolved issues with people around us can deeply affect our lives. Understanding and improving these relationships can be key to overcoming many of the difficulties we face. To lead a healthy, fulfilling life, it's crucial to let go of resentments, fears, malice, envy, antagonism, and pride. These negative emotions can be likened to cancers of the soul and the subconscious mind. Sometimes they manifest physically as cancer, but more often they inhibit our progress and well-being in life. Their severity depends on the intensity of our emotions and our ability to resolve these inner conflicts. In this chapter, let's talk about treatment for problems. Now, would you like to become a more whole and integrated person? Most people would. Achieving this means letting go of emotional baggage stored in your subconscious mind. It's a process we all have to go through. Here's a simple, though not easy, program you can create for yourself. It's called resentment therapy. Start by making a list of everyone you've ever resented, been hurt by, or felt angry towards. Begin with the people who are bothering you now and work your way back as far as you can remember, even to your earliest childhood memories. Sometimes you might initially think, "I don't resent anyone." If that's your first reaction, take some time to reflect. Grab a notebook and pencil, not just a piece of paper, and start jotting down names. This might take a week or two to finish. As you compile this list, you'll likely uncover memories and emotions buried deep in your subconscious. From experience, I can tell you that the average list usually contains about 200 names. This process is just the beginning. The next step involves sitting quietly and focusing on a specific thought. Everything that has happened to me, no matter how good or bad, I have somehow caused it, either consciously or unconsciously. Therefore, I should not hold any negative feelings against anyone on my list. I fully and freely forgive them now. Repeat this process with each name on your list. It's recommended to spend about 10 to 15 minutes each day on this exercise. Start with the names at the top of your list and continue where you left off the next day until you've forgiven everyone you've listed. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Yet some may think it's not effective enough. What puzzles me about people is their strong belief in negative ideas. They often speak with fear and anxiety about terrible things they think will happen. How often do we hear people say things like, "Another world war is coming," or "We're heading for another depression," or "This new government will ruin everything"? They say these things with such strong belief. If you respond by saying, "I don't think those things will happen," they might reply, "Look at how bad things are now. They can only get worse." I've always wondered why we often dismiss good, positive thoughts as foolish, impractical, or weak. Perhaps it's because we haven't fully understood or tried the power of positive thinking. But back to the resentment therapy. Take your time to make your list thoroughly. When you've completed it, you might notice that some names, especially those that have bothered you for years, keep coming back to mind. If you've already forgiven them while making your list, simply say, "God bless you," when they come to mind again. You may need to say this often because the subconscious mind holds onto memories with strong emotions. Stick with this process. Within a surprisingly short time, usually just days, you'll find that the old resentments no longer burden you. You'll notice improvements in your health, feeling more energetic and looking younger. You'll feel liberated, as if a heavy weight has been lifted from your heart, even though you didn't realize how heavy it was until now. You'll start to wonder what has changed. Quietly and gently, almost unnoticed, life becomes more comfortable, more pleasant, and more peaceful. This is how God works through us, making positive changes in our lives. In this chapter, let's talk about proper thinking. One important step is what we just covered. Now there's another step that's just as crucial, but it requires a bit more time and self-awareness. Have you ever noticed how our minds, yours and mine, are often living in either tomorrow, next week, or dwelling on last year? We spend a lot of time regretting things from the past, or worrying about things that haven't happened yet. Rarely do we focus on the present moment, the here and now. In reality, the only moment we truly experience is this exact moment. The moment you started reading this sentence is already in the past. It's gone forever, and there's no way to bring it back. And before you finish reading this sentence, you'll already be in the future. The only thing we can ever be sure of is this very moment we're living in right now. Right now, your mind is focused. Your body is likely relaxed in a comfortable chair. Your conscious and subconscious minds are taking in and understanding these words. We often disturb our minds, and this can be harmful to ourselves. The subconscious mind doesn't recognize time or measure time in any way. It's not concerned with time at all. Time is purely a physical concept. Always keep that in mind. If you're unsure, think about the difference between spending 5 minutes in the dentist's chair without any numbing medicine and experiencing 5 minutes of the greatest happiness you've ever felt. Which feels longer to you? We use time to measure how things move through space physically, but the subconscious mind doesn't care about that. It only knows the present moment. This idea is captured in the saying, "I live in an eternal now." It's how we're designed to live, but often we don't. Our conscious mind jumps between the past and the future, constantly pulling us away from the present. This tug-of-war between the conscious mind and the subconscious, which prefers to stay focused on the present with the body, causes a lot of tiredness for many of us. It also leads to nervous tension that few people escape from. If you want to achieve things in your life, you need to learn to keep your mind focused. It's your responsibility and mine too. No one else can do it for you. If your thoughts wander when you're trying to accomplish something, you won't make much progress. Create a rule for yourself. Whenever you're doing something, whether it's small or big, give it your full attention. Concentrate all your thoughts on that task. Keep practicing this until it becomes natural for you. You'll notice clearer thinking, more creativity, and you'll get twice as much done in half the time without feeling stressed or tired. It's like unlocking a new part of your mind. Why does this work? Because you're focusing all your mental and emotional energy in one place. You're not dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. You're fully engaged in the present moment, in what some call an eternal now. Does that mean you can't prepare for the future? Not at all. When you make plans for yourself, it's best to focus on positive outcomes. When you create mental images and fill them with your desires and emotions, you're planting good ideas in your subconscious mind. On the other hand, worrying is negative planning for the future. It involves dwelling on terrible things that might happen, and this too plants ideas in your subconscious mind. Keep in mind, your subconscious is already full of negative thoughts. Importantly, it doesn't reason things out. It simply acts on the instructions it receives, whether they're good or bad. When we learn to live consciously and subconsciously in the present moment, we gain control over our destiny. We start to exercise the authority over our lives that the Bible promises us. We all desire this kind of control over our lives, but to achieve it, we need to implement a reorganization plan. The straightforward steps outlined here, if followed, will benefit every aspect of your life. Firstly, you must learn to relax and calm down. This doesn't mean you have to isolate yourself like Little Miss Muffet from the nursery rhyme. You can still enjoy your pleasures and social life. Your daily routine won't be disrupted at all. The key change is to stop the frantic rush that so many of us live in. We're constantly hurrying so much that we hardly have time to catch our breath. Someone once humorously said that every country has its patron saint. England has St. George, Ireland has St. Patrick, and America has St. Vitus, known for the dancing frenzy. It's true, isn't it? Have you noticed how we're always rushing from one place to another? So let's stop rushing. If we keep rushing, there's only one destination we're heading towards, the last place on earth we want to be. That final journey is taken slowly, with a group of mourners in tow. Relax and take it easy. There's a beautiful saying in metaphysics that goes, God is never in a hurry, so why should you be? Think about it. Every day, the sun rises exactly when it should, and the moon appears on schedule. Everything in the universe operates with majestic, orderly, and quiet precision, except for us humans. So let's stop rushing. Remind yourself over and over, I have plenty of time because I'm now focusing my energy, which allows me to work with intense power in whatever I decide to do. Then put that into action. To learn to relax, find 5 minutes either at the start or end of your day. Lie down flat on your back on the floor. Place a clock where you can see the time without moving your head. Watch the minute hand for 5 minutes without moving any part of your body except your eyes and eyelids. It might seem challenging at first, but if you keep at it, you will gain complete control over your body. Once relaxation becomes a habit, your body will respond quickly to your command when tension or pain arises. It's crucial to learn this control because progress is difficult without it. Remember, your subconscious mind is used to controlling your body and has its own habits, including illnesses and quirks, which it enjoys prolonging. If you find that surprising, think about how eagerly we describe our health problems to friends who innocently ask, "How are you?" We love to share every detail of our indigestion, pains, and aches. But doing this actually reinforces our subconscious belief in discomfort, illness, and tension, making it harmful. Instead of coddling your body, train it. Your body only functions as well as you treat it. Always remind yourself, I am a soul, I have a body. Remember, it's worth $2.94. Treat your body like you treat your clothes. It's the outer garment of your mind. To wear it well, you need to start with a foundation of relaxation. In this chapter, let's refresh concentration and meditation. The next step in the program focuses on your conscious mind. You need to learn how to concentrate. In many ways, everyone knows how to concentrate on topics they are familiar with and interested in. For instance, you'll rarely find a person who can't spend hours discussing and thinking about sports, debating the merits of teams like the Dodgers and the Yankees. Similarly, many women can easily spend hours immersed in fashion discussions or gossip. We all have the ability to concentrate, but what we often struggle with is applying that same focus to new and unfamiliar subjects. Concentration simply means focusing deeply on a specific subject. When you give something your full attention, you're concentrating on it. So, after learning to relax, the next step is to engage in concentrated work on a particular topic. When we direct our thoughts towards God, we call it prayer or meditation. Meditation is like nourishment for the soul, just as food is for the body. Sadly, not many people have fully understood this, but in the last 25 years, more and more people have begun to realize its importance. It's recommended to set aside about 10 or 15 minutes each day to connect with God through prayer or meditation. Meditation means focusing on an idea that interests you, but not your problems, which we often like to think about. You start with a positive idea, like what you believe God is, what God means to you, and what you mean to God. Remember, you are a special creation of God. Think deeply about these thoughts. Everyone expresses these ideas in their own way. It might happen, as it does for many people, that despite being talkative with others, you find yourself at a loss for words. This is an interesting quirk of our habits, but a very real one. If this happens to you, overcome your shyness by realizing that God loves you with a love deeper than that of your parents, spouse, children, or closest friend. God knows you as you should be and as you are. He cares deeply about you and your well-being. People often ask me, how do you do it? Here's how I usually explain it. I begin by affirming God is the only presence, God is the only power. Then I reflect on what this means personally to me. These are beautiful ideas, but they need to be meaningful to me to make a difference in my life. The presence of God is what gives me life. I exist because of it. The power of God is the law that sustains the universe and everything in it. We are all children of God, including you and me. Our birthright, yours and mine, is to understand how to use this law to shape our lives according to what they are meant to be. I start with the belief that my birthright includes perfect health, harmony, and fulfillment. These are not things I should have to struggle to achieve. They were gifts from God when He created me. However, I haven't fully reached the point where I can manifest these gifts completely. So I work towards that through prayer and treating these ideas with reverence and faith. A treatment is a brief form of meditation that helps us change the patterns and beliefs in our subconscious mind. During a treatment, I focus on a specific aspect of God that I need to strengthen in both my conscious and subconscious mind. There are 7 main qualities of God that we can understand to some extent: life, love, truth, wisdom, spirit, soul, and principle. If there's something lacking in your life, you should meditate on the corresponding aspect of God. For example, if you need better health, focus on God as life. If you're experiencing scarcity, meditate on truth or soul. If you're having difficulties with others, concentrate on love. For overcoming fear and feeling young, meditate on spirit. Wisdom is helpful for making decisions, and even when you don't have decisions to make, we all benefit from meditating on wisdom. When you feel stuck in a problem, meditate on principle, which is the law of God in action and the only power in the universe. Allocate 10 or 15 minutes each day to this practice. Some people say, "I can't find the time." But think about it. Can you find time to take a breath? Can you find time for work or social activities? Of course you can. There's a wise saying from an unknown source: we always make time for the things we truly want to do. Consider this. Is there anything more important than taking care of your body and soul? Often we might think attending church on Sunday and praying is enough for the week. But just as Sunday dinner isn't sufficient to keep our bodies healthy for the whole week, prayer and meditation are essential nourishment for our souls. They provide the sustenance our souls need to thrive. There are different ways to meditate. One approach is called free meditation, which was briefly mentioned earlier. This can be challenging for beginners who haven't yet learned to control their thoughts well enough to focus on one idea. Sometimes they struggle to come up with ideas to meditate on. Another effective method is to read spiritual books that uplift you. Many excellent metaphysical books are written specifically for this purpose. Of course, the Bible stands out as the greatest book of all. Nearly every page offers wisdom and inspiration that can meet your needs and uplift your spirit. For example, you could meditate on a passage like the 23rd Psalm, which is known for its beauty and comfort. In fact, the entire book of Psalms is like a condensed Bible in itself. When you meditate with a passage like the 23rd Psalm, ask for understanding and claim its meaning for yourself. Read through it slowly and then read it again, this time putting it into your own words. This personal engagement is the most effective way to meditate on Scripture. Start with the phrase, "The Lord is my shepherd." Then ask yourself, who is the Lord? For me, it's the presence of God within me, my own essence, the Christ within. What does this mean to me? It means that God cares deeply about my well-being. My body is a sacred place for God. My life and everything I do are ways for God to show Himself through me. I am a special creation of God. It's not about the words I use, it's about the feeling behind them. Remember, God isn't impressed by fancy speeches. He just wants us to turn to Him and seek Him sincerely. When you're starting out, it's best to set aside time every day until it becomes a habit. The subconscious mind loves routines. Once it learns that a specific time of day is for meditation, it will remind you to do it. You'll soon see that even a short period of trying this will prove its value. The final chapter, conclusion. Up to now, we focused on the relaxation part of our program. The resentment therapy can be done whenever you have time, but it's best to start as soon as possible. The first 2 steps require about 20 minutes each day. Now the final step builds on the first 2, learning to think correctly. Start thinking positively. Your thoughts are powerful. They can shape your life. The world around us is made of a substance you can mold with your thoughts, so banish negative thoughts. Don't dwell on them in your mind or express them aloud. You can tell when you're thinking positively or negatively. Aim for the best in yourself. That's all God asks of anyone. Begin this practice, stick with it, and you'll start to transform your life. This isn't just a plan for living, it's a blueprint for a fulfilling life if you embrace it. Many people believe these concepts are new and revolutionary. It surprises many to discover a new branch of medicine called psychosomatics, which suggests that most illnesses originate from the subconscious mind. This field not only treats the body but also addresses the mind. It draws inspiration from metaphysics, much like psychology and psychiatry. While these disciplines use different terms, they all focus on the subconscious mind. However, our approach extends beyond this to encompass the entire person, spirit, soul, and body. These ideas are considered eternal truths, timeless and unchanging. They have always been true, are true now, and will always remain true, unaffected by anything in the universe. The only change possible is within ourselves when we consciously decide to understand and apply these truths. The choice lies entirely with us. We have free will, and no one can force or influence us in this matter. It is a personal journey that each individual must undertake independently and willingly. Always remember one thing. You need no intermediary between you and your God. Your God knows you, but you have not yet known your God. Go find him, and you will then discover that you really are a special enterprise on the part of God. And that concludes Mildred Mann's book, How to Find Your Real Self. I really admire this book. It's straightforward and easy to understand, yet it holds important lessons and some intriguing techniques that I highly recommend exploring. One of the things I found most valuable in this book is resentment therapy. Mann suggests making a list of everyone who has hurt or wronged you throughout your life. Initially, you might think you don't have many resentments, but as you make the list, you realize they go back a long way, even to elementary school. When I made my resentment list, I revisited moments like when a childhood friend abruptly ended our friendship without explanation, leaving me feeling abandoned and resentful for years. These accumulated resentments, whether from school, relationships, or friendships, shape how we see the world and can hinder our ability to trust and take action. Addressing and forgiving these past hurts isn't magic, but it can feel like it. It can lead to improved health and a more comfortable life. For instance, unresolved emotions may even manifest physically, causing issues like neck or back pain. It's truly remarkable how liberating it feels to let go of these resentments. I really appreciate how she explains meditation in this book. If you're new to meditation, her technique is a great place to start. What she suggests is to lie down on the floor with your back straight and try to stay still for 5 minutes, only moving your eyes. It might sound simple at first, but it can be quite an achievement once you try it. This type of meditation aligns with what Joseph Benner also recommends, focusing on the presence of God within you. You can practice this in the morning, right after waking up. Just contemplate the presence of God within yourself. It's a straightforward and effective method, especially for those who find meditation challenging or complex. It's really not. Who is your true self? That's the question she poses, guiding you to discover your authentic self. Your real self is that divine essence, that core of I am she talks about. I find the beginning of her book captivating, especially her focus on reactions. Many authors in the realm of New Thought overlook the significance of reactions, yet they profoundly shape our days. Consider this. How you react in a moment of anger or strong emotion can influence your entire day. We discussed this concept earlier with the idea of setting a positive tone in the morning, which can lead to remarkable days ahead. Therefore, examining your reactions holds great power. Remember, you are a unique creation of God. This is something you should always keep in mind. Your true essence resides within you. It's essential to release resentments and seek moments of stillness. What challenges are you facing? Everyone deals with various challenges in life, big or small. It's inevitable. Most of these challenges likely stem from your subconscious mind, as she explains very well. Your subconscious mind plays a constant role in shaping your reality, a concept explored extensively by Dr. Joseph Murphy, whose teachings resonate deeply with this book. I believe you'll find this book quite enjoyable. It offers a simple yet powerful teaching that we'll explore further. Mildred Mann joins our expanding library of great metaphysical teachers who have illuminated our paths countless times, though it's easy to forget their teachings amid the daily grind. It's crucial not to lose sight of these insights. Even if my podcast seems repetitive, it serves a purpose in reinforcing these ideas into your subconscious. Over time, this repetition can shift your thinking patterns, ultimately transforming your reality. Thank you for listening.